Well, I hope the coffee has kicked in. You guys are feeling with energy. Uh, Thank you. Let me start by acknowledging Anne, which is the director of this program, Carla, Alicia, and Madison, for giving me the opportunity to be conducting this research over the summer. This has been a great experience, and thank you for giving me the platform to be talking to you about one of my biggest passions in life, which is birds. Man, I love birds. so, yeah, here I'm going to be talking about why I love birds and why I think the more I learn about them, the more I learn about myself as well. So, this summer, I got the opportunity to be working in the Boulder Chickadee Study, which is run by Professor Scott Taylor. This lab is focused on ecology and hybridization of birds, which just means that two species of birds have an offspring, right? So I want us to start by having a little context, a little background. So I want you to picture Thanksgiving, right? It's Thanksgiving dinner, and you know those family that you only see once a year, or they're coming over, you guys are having a good time, you're done with your food, and you're looking at that delicious last piece of pie, right? But you notice that the person across the table, your cousin, is also looking at that same exact pie. So you guys kind of like stare at each other, and you don't know exactly what to do. You could pick up your fork as fast as you can and snatch the pie. Or you could be nice, since your cousin is here to visit and you want to be nice, you can give him the pie and get some stuffing because you're trying to be nice. So this example is going to help us understand what happens in nature when two different species interact with each other. So my research question is going to be focused on two closely related cavity nesting bird species, which when sometimes they occupy the same area. So my question is going to be focusing on whether they compete for the same insect-rich food sources, or do they adjust their diets to reduce direct competition. So I want to take a quick moment, and I'm going to tell you about these two closely related bird species. So on the left, we have the black-capped chickadee. These birds usually are found in lower elevations and a mixed forest composed of mostly aspen trees, cottonwood trees. These are the type of birds that are mostly found in backyards. And on the right, even though they look very similar, I don't know if you can tell, we're starting to see some differences in the way they look, but the mountain chickadees do have a black stripe, which is a way to tell them apart. They also are found higher in elevation, and they usually prefer a dry conifer forest. So here's where I'm gonna tell you everything I can about these two guys. They're awesome. First of all, in North America, we're seeing a decline in songbird populations, which is concerning. The reasons why is because birds provide us with vital resources such as seed dispersal, insect control population control, and pollination. And I have another one that's going to blow your mind. Mental health. You're going to be like, wow, really? Yes. Research suggests that exposure to songbirds has a positive impact on mental health by reducing stress, anxiety, and symptoms of depression. So if you're feeling down today, let me know, and we can go for a hike after the talk. Anyways, we talked about the difference in the habitats that they prefer. So the area that we're going to focus in is going to be where you see the blue dots and the pink dots, which are indicating that the two species that we're focusing are occupying the same area. So during nesting season, chickadees will feed off their nestlings, and about 90% of what their nestlings are going to be insects, Also, chickadees are a year-round species that don't migrate, so this is helpful with studying them because we usually see the same birds coming back to the same area, which gives us a better understanding over time how their diets are changing. So here's a little bit of the sampling that we conducted. This sampling has been done, it started in 2019. We have data from 2020 and 2024. That's the data that I'm gonna be talking about, but I also had the chance to go into the field because who doesn't wanna look at this cute little eggs? So chickadees, as I mentioned, like to nest in cavities. They will put around 1 to 13 eggs, and when the season is beginning, they will usually use cues in their environment to pick when's the best time to start the little families, just like we do. So this is a little picture of the nestlings. What we'll do, we'll use, first of all, you got to be very, very careful. We do not want to hurt these birds. So what we'll do in the nest boxes that do have nestlings, we are going to collect samples from them. So imagine your first days alive. Someone that you don't know just picks you up from your nest. You're obviously going to be scared. So these guys, when you have them in your hand, they will usually poop because they're feeling very nervous. So what we'll do, we're going to collect this fecal sample and we're going to take it to a lab where it's going to get a sequence, and we're going to be focusing on the CO1 gene. And this gene is going to be sequenced, and then it's going to be used to identify the insect species that the parents are feeding to their nestlings. So I forgot to mention, but we collected 115 samples over the 3 years. We have 56 black-capped chickadee samples and 59 mountain chickadee samples. So these are the results of the 3 years. Every color is indicating a different insect family. I'm going to give you some highlights because this are a lot of names that I do not know how to pronounce. So the highlight here is that for the most part, we are seeing that chickadees are mostly feeding their younglings with butterflies, moths, and a different families. For example, we have crane flies, leaf eater flies. But what I want you to notice is that in 2024, black-capped chickadees and mountain chickadees, their diets are completely different. On the left, you see that black-capped chickadees, for the most part, are feeding their nestlings with butterflies and moths. And mountain chickadees, in response to that, had to feed their nestlings with other types of insects. So this picture here is going to help us kind of visualize what we're seeing with our data. So on the left, you can see how black-capped chickadees, the box is little, indicating that the diversity of their diets is small compared to the mountain chickadee, which had a significant diversity in the types of insects. Further analysis using a Bray-Curtis distance revealed the same trend that we're seeing, where on one side we have the mountain chickadee clustered on one area and the black-capped chickadees clustered on a different area. So that distance in between is telling us that their diets are not the same. Interesting. Oh my God. Anyways, this data got me thinking a lot. What could be making these two guys not go after the same insects, right? So one of the things that I wanted to consider is the fact that even though they look very similar, their beaks are different in size, width, and depth, which I think could explain that maybe the mountain chickadees with that long beak, they're having access to a different type of insect, and maybe the black-capped chickadee, since its beak it's a little bit shorter, could catch like smaller insects, right? That's the fun thing about ecology. It just makes you wonder a lot of things that you're observing, and it gives you kind of that connection with nature. So a few other things that I would like to discuss is I think for future work it would be nice to have a little bit more of a data set across years to see if there's a pattern of the insects that chickadees are feeding their nestlings. There's also some big factors to consider. For example, climate change. We have research that is showing a decrease in insect populations due to climate change, which in effect definitely will have an impact on the insects that chickadees are feeding off from. There's another, in the same topic as climate change. Climate change is also altering the ranges of the two birds. So I would expect them to have more interactions in between them, which could generate more questions about how these interactions are affecting their diets. So in conclusion, across the 3 years, mountain and black-cap chickadees' diets were distinct. Data supported this idea, and we saw that mountain chickadees consumed a wider range of prey, which suggested different foraging strategies that may reduce direct competition and support coexistence. And to finish off, these results will offer a foundation for tracking future changes in diet and species interactions over time. I want to take a brief moment to acknowledge the amazing field team, Sarah, Nate, Sam, and also my mentor, Scott Taylor, to my mentors at RECCS, to CU Boulder, and to you for making this possible. Thank you so much. That's a wrap.